Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to back up Oracle databases on Linux CLI or command line interface using AhsayOBM. Ahsay provides complete protection for all your database servers on Windows and Linux platforms through the use of full database and archive log backups for the latest point-in-time recovery. Our solution offers customers full flexibility, allowing them to choose between backing up selected databases or the entire instance. Ahsay supports backup of depluggable databases or PDB, allowing for greater flexibility and adaptability in their database management strategies. Ahsay supports hot backups for Oracle database instances, which includes the database files, control files, configuration files, and archive log files to ensure 24/7 uninterrupted user access. AhsayOBM places a temporary lock on the selected databases during backups to ensure complete data consistency. This does not impact normal database operations, but it prevents new data from being committed during backup. After the backup has completed, any new transactions are then applied to the respective databases. AhsayOBM offers archive log deletion, a feature that automatically deletes archive log files from your Oracle instance which have reached a certain user-specified amount of days. Ahsay takes the stress out of Oracle database recovery with our automated recovery process, allowing for quick and reliable recovery from any point in time with a choice of either manual or fully automated database recovery. The video will be in two parts. For the first part, I will show you how to create and configure a backup set via Linux CLI. For the second part, I'm going to show you how to add Ahsay Drive as your destination storage via the web console and how to run a backup job via Linux CLI. Let's go to my screen and we'll start to create a backup. Connect to a Linux machine using an SSH client like PuTTY. Log into the root account. Change directory to the bin folder of OBM by entering the following cd command. Enter the following sh script to launch AhsayOBM. Choose option 1 and enter your login credentials. Select option 5 to generate a new backup set. Then select option 4 for Oracle Database Server. AhsayOBM will create an XML file and save it in the .obm folder. You can configure the backup set settings by using a text editor. You can either quit the run configurator.sh script or open a new SSH session to edit the XML file. For our example, I will choose option 8 to quit and go to the path indicated to edit the XML file. Configure the XML file by using a text editor. I'm going to use VI to configure the backup set settings. Enter the following to open the text editor. After entering the text editor, we are going to configure the following settings. Backup set name, temporary directory for storing backup files, remove temporary files after backup, compression type, delete archived logs that are older than the following days, Oracle database server settings, Oracle login ID, Oracle password, Oracle host, Oracle port, and Oracle SID. Selected source, deselected source, enable scheduled backup on this computer. For our example, we will use a weekly backup. So we are going to remove the section for daily, monthly, and custom settings. Weekly settings, name of the schedule, start hour, start minute, type of backup, and interval. Then, Backup on these days of the week. Destination settings. Name of your destination. Directory to store your backup files. Enable deduplication and deduplication scope. In order to configure the settings of the backup set XML file, we need to input the required settings in the value data field. For the backup set name, I'm going to input Oracle Database Backup CLI as our backup set name. The temp folder is the default location where AhsayOBM temporarily stores backup set index files and temporary restore files. The best practice is to set the temporary directory to another local drive for optimal backup and restore performance. It should not be located on the same partition as the operating system because if that drive fills up, it could cause the backup machine to crash, preventing your backup from running or completing. It shouldn't also be set to a network drive as it could affect both backup and restore performance. For the temporary directory for storing backup files, I'm going to input the path /mnt/data/temp, which is on another drive, to store the temporary files in. For the remove temporary files after backup, the default value is Y for yes. We'll leave it on the default setting for our example, which removes temporary files after the backup job has finished. Next is compression type. For the compression type, I'm going to select Snappy Default Compression, which is for fast with optimization for local. This is the optimal setting for our backup set type. You can change the compression type at any time after the backup set has been created. Next is archive log retention. This feature will retain archive logs for a set number of days before they are permanently deleted. This process is done after every database and archive log backup job. We'll leave it to the default value, which is 60 days. Next is the Oracle Database Server settings. The default login ID used is system. Input system in the login ID value data field and its corresponding password. It is recommended to use localhost for the Oracle host as AhsayOBM is directly installed on the Oracle database server. Input localhost in the value data field. The default port is 1521. If your Oracle database server is set up with a different port, please input it in the valid data field. For SID, which is the Oracle System Identifier, you may need to contact your system admin for the value to input here. For our example, I'm going to input ORCL in the value data field. Next is selected source. These are the databases that you would like to back up. If you have more than one sources to back up, copy the whole key script, then enter the path in the value data field. For our example, I will input Oracle Database Server in the value data field to select all the databases on the server. Next is the selected source. These are the databases that you would like to exclude from the backup. If you have more than one sources to exclude in the backup, copy the whole key script, then enter the path in the value data field. The temp database is automatically excluded when performing a backup job, so we are going to leave this section blank. Next is schedule settings. Input Y in the value data field to enable automatic backup schedules. There are two backup set types, database and archive log. Create a backup schedule for each type to optimize the efficiency of your Oracle database server backup. Typically, this entails performing both database and archive log backups every day outside working hours, which also minimizes any impact on end users. When setting a backup schedule, consider the hardware performance of the machine, the network bandwidth, and the retention policy settings. For our example, we will be using the weekly settings only. You can schedule a backup for daily, monthly, and a custom setting but we don't need to configure them for our example. So I have already removed those sections in the XML file. To create a full database backup schedule, we need to configure the weekly settings only. Enter the name of the schedule. I will input full database backup schedule in the value data field. Enter 20 for the start hour and 0 for the start minute in order to set the schedule for 2000 hours or 8 p.m. For the type of backup, input database in the value data field. Set the interval to -1 in the value data field as we will be using a non-periodic backup. For the backup on these days of the week, set the Saturday to Y and all the other days to N. This sets the automatic full database backup to run every Saturday at 8 p.m. To create an archive log backup schedule, we need to configure the weekly settings only. Enter the name of the schedule. I will input daily archive log backup schedule in the value data field. Enter 20 for the start hour and 0 for the start minute to set the schedule to 2000 hours or 8 p.m. For the type of backup, input log in the value data field. Set the interval to -1 in the value data field as we will be using a non-periodic backup. For the backup on these days of the week, set Saturday and Sunday to N and all the other days to Y. This sets the automatic archive log backup to run from Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. For the destination setting of our backup set, this will be separated into two parts. First, I will discuss how to add a local folder as the destination of our backup, and then later on, I will discuss how to add Ahsay drive as our storage destination. The default setting is set to local destination settings, which means that the backup will be saved locally on the machine. Enter the name of your destination. I will input local backup as the name of my destination. Enter the path to where the backup will be saved. I will input the path /mnt/data/local-backup, as this is the folder that I created to store the backup files. For the deduplication settings, we have a choice to either enable or disable it. Enabling deduplication will remove duplicate copies of data that helps save up to 60% of storage space for database backups. For the scope of the deduplication, we have a choice of whether it would cover the same file path within the same backup set or all files within the same backup set. If you select same file path within the same backup set, the deduplication applies to the current backup job and it applies to the duplicated contents within a file. If you select all files within the same backup set, the deduplication applies across different files in the backup set. For our example, we will enable the duplication and choose all files within the same backup set as the scope. Enter Y and B in their respective data fields. When you're done editing the XML file, press Escape, then type :WQ to save the changes made. Go back to the bin folder by typing cd/usr/local/obm/bin. Then enter the sh script sh run configurator.sh to launch AhsayOBM again. Log into AhsayOBM again using your credentials. Choose option 4 to import the backup set settings file that we edited earlier. It will verify the data provided, and if there are no errors, it will prompt you if you'd like to encrypt your backup. Select Y to enable encryption. AhsayOBM will then give you 3 options for encryption. You can choose between default, user password, and custom. For our example, we will choose option 1 for default, and it will use Ahsay's AES 256-bit data encryption to generate a 44 alphanumeric character encryption key to encrypt your backup set. Remember, once you have selected the encryption settings, it cannot be changed afterwards. If you need to change the encryption settings, you will need to create a new backup set and back up all your data again. Choose option 1 to view the list of backup sets available. Then choose option 2 to select the backup set that we just created. After choosing the backup set, it will display all the settings that we entered in the XML file, and it will show you the encryption key for the backup set. It is important to keep a copy of the encryption key because if you forget or lose your encryption key, you will lose the ability to access and restore your backup data. Once you have secured the encryption key, choose option 8 to quit AhsayOBM. Then open your web browser in order to add Ahsay Drive to our destination storage. On your web browser, log into your backup server and click the user tile. Select the backup set tab and click on the backup set that we just created. Select the destination tab. Oracle database backup sets exclusively support sequential backup mode. If you intend to backup your Oracle databases to both Ahsay Drive and a local drive, AhsayOBM will perform backups to the destination storages sequentially. Click on the plus icon to add a new destination storage. Choose Ahsay Drive, then click on the plus icon on the lower right to save the changes. Ahsay Drive has now been added to the backup destination storage. Click on the save icon on the lower right to save the changes. Go back to PuTTY and log into AhsayOBM again. View the list of backup sets and select the backup set that we just created. Ahsay Drive should now be added to the destination name. Verify if the scheduled backup settings are correct. Enter the command cat-root/log/scheduler/debug.log to view if the scheduled backup is running with the correct settings. As you can see here, the next backup will run in 5 hours and 16 minutes. This is correct because it is set at 8 p.m. tonight. To run a backup job, go back to the bin folder of OBM and run the following sh script. Along with the name of your backup set. Your databases have been successfully backed up by AhsayOBM. And that's how to back up Oracle databases on Linux CLI using AhsayOBM. With Ahsay, your data is fully protected. Armed with the latest technology like immutable backups, where your backup data will never be encrypted, deleted, or modified for total protection against hackers and ransomware. Strong AES 256-bit data encryption ensures that your data is encrypted during transit and when your data is stored, to prevent anyone from reading your data without your permission. Two-factor authentication, to prevent anyone from accessing your data without your permission. Multi-destination backups, to store your backup data in more than one storage destination and across many geographical regions, for maximum protection against natural disasters, fire, or conflicts. And data deduplication, a feature that removes duplicate copies of data that helps you save up to 90% of your storage space, with significant savings on your data storage costs as well as much faster backups. That's why you should choose Ahsay. Your data is safe with us.